Hello, beautiful souls. You're listening to the Angels and Awakening podcast. I'm your host and author, Julie Jancis. Did you know that you can listen to this show everywhere podcasts are found? It's true. Now, I have 3 free gifts just for you. First gift, I give away a new reading each week to a person who's left a 5-star positive review of this show, then submitted it to me using the contact form at theangelmedium.com/contact. I hope I'm calling your number next. Second gift, if you'd like a new daily angel message, join me on Insta at Angel Podcast. Third free gift, if you'd like to know the name of one of your guardian angels so that you can work with them even more closely, go to the homepage of my website, theangelmedium.com, and submit your contact info at the very top. I'll email you back personally with the name of one of your angels. Okay, as we begin the show, I want you to feel the presence of your angels surrounding you. And just know that the loving, positive messages you resonate with today are messages for you from your angels and loved ones on the other side. Oh, and don't forget to register for the spiritual retreat because the early bird pricing is ending June 30th. We don't want you to miss it. Sign up over at theangelmedium.com/retreat. That's theangelmedium.com/retreat. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to the Angels and Awakening podcast. I'm your host and author, Julie Jancis. And friends, if you're listening over on the radio, thank you so much for connecting with our new show that's on the radio in Southern California. If you'd like to get a hold of me, because some of you have been like, where can I find more of Julie? Go over to my Instagram account at Angel Podcast, and I'd love to hear more from all of you over there. Today, we're here with Tracy Cochran. She is the author of the new book, Presence, The Art of Being at Home in Yourself. And Tracy, our listeners know just how much that title resonates with this show. Thank you for the blessings of your work that you're putting out into the world. And thank you for taking the time to be with us today.
Oh, thank you. I'm so happy to be with you.
Thank you so much. So I know that you have a raspy voice. I've actually had issues with my voice in the past, and I was wondering, how did you come about this voice, and what has it taught you?
Okay, I'm so glad you asked, because for me, first, the story in a nutshell, about 12 years ago, 10 years ago, my voice started breaking up a little bit, and then more and more. Long story short, I developed this raspy voice, and it was diagnosed as essential tremor, the way some people have shaky hands or a head that shakes. I have a shaky voice. And the reason it's interesting to talk about in a space like this is because everybody's got something.
Yeah.
And when this first developed, people were like, oh, Tracy, I'm so sorry, because you're teaching publicly. I'm a meditation teacher, and I was doing podcasts. What a misfortune.
Yeah.
But I have discovered that when we let ourselves be with whatever our challenge is, whatever suffering or interesting situation that appears, if we can learn to bring compassionate, loving awareness to that situation, it becomes a teacher, and sometimes even a portal. And in the case of my voice, I've discovered that in order to have a good voice, in order to make sound, I have to be soft with myself and accepting. And I also have to let myself come back to the body, to presence, and not kind of panic and get caught in my throat, but to go deep into breath, into belly, and also into trusting that my listener has compassion, that they have something too, that might make them feel frightened that they're different or separate. So it's become my teacher in presence and also in acceptance.
I love that. When I have my vocal issues that I don't have all the time, but they flare up here and there, it's very, very painful. And it's very painful deep in my chest and even up in my throat. Is it painful for you?
Sometimes I can feel strain.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same for you. Almost always, the best direction to go is down, like into the body, to just let myself be grounded and to let my voice be soft, not to force, but to let life happen,
Yeah.
so to speak. Yeah.
I love that word grounded. When I learned meditation technique, I really kind of had this experience where my energy just went up and through the crown chakra of my head. And I felt no longer in my physical body. I felt like I was my auric field surrounding me. Um, and I know that you can be in the body and feel oneness with all things, but I just felt myself meld into everything that is. And it was just such a beautiful experience. Um, how do you get your client students to ground? Like, what's your favorite grounding technique?
Okay. Well, first of all, I've had the experience you describe, and I describe it in my book, in the story The Night I Died, that very life-changing experience of experiencing light shoot up through my crown chakra and become part of oneness, of divinity, of this greater consciousness. So I know what you're talking about, but what's so touching to remember is that we can begin to find it by turning the attention, like right now, even just to the body, eyes open, not meditating, but making space for the presence of the body and the attention within the body and surrounding us. Just make space for it. So we're not just our thinking attention, but something deeper. And it's such a paradox. As we come back to the body, we feel the feet on the floor, we feel the breath, feel connected to you in the present moment, even though we're in different places. As I do this, as I make this movement of returning to body, to presence, I'm opening at the same time to something greater.
And what's the greatest form of like experiencing the body? Because you've worked in meditation for over 30 years. Um, what's the greatest experience of the body that we can have? Is it feeling like all of the cells are open and activated and just alive? What does that feel like to you?
Well, it feels like vibrancy, like you've described in your meditations, and I've enjoyed reading your book. And again, it doesn't even require special conditions or a long time. But turning the attention to the body, we begin to get in touch with the fact that there is a vibration
Yeah.
inside, deep inside, and also surrounding us. It vibrates at a very different frequency than our ordinary thinking.
Mm. I want to keep going with questions, but I just have this thought coming in. Would you mind walking us through a meditation towards the end of today?
Sure, of course.
Oh, I'd love that. I'd love that. Um, so I know that let's see here. You have a near-death experience, and I think you're just touching on it there, but, you talk about presence can also mean divine presence. Can you go
Yes,
into that story and that lesson?
yes, sure. Um, Typically, when people hear about mindfulness, and I'm a mindfulness meditation teacher, we think of being present as something like I can feel the warmth of the cup, or I can feel my feet on the floor. And that's true, that's being present. But I discovered, as all of us do in different ways, it sounds like you did too, in an extraordinary circumstance that seemed, it was very dangerous. I was walking alone in New York City in a back street when I was young, in my 20s, an age where we often think we're invincible and nothing bad can ever happen. And I was actually held in a stranglehold, and I wasn't harmed. I'll skip ahead to tell you and your listeners it turned out okay, but in the grip of this terrifying circumstance, I experienced this light inside my body. And I meditated already, but nothing prepared me for this. This light welling up, shooting out of the top of my crown chakra. And looking up, I was like out of my body, surrounded by light, surrounded by a feeling of the divine. And I had the sensation of being looked at with extraordinary kindness from above. It was like full of, I don't know, angels. It was like this vastness of benevolent, caring forces behind the appearances of the world. This light, these luminous beings. And I had the sensation of being looked at. And even the person who was mugging me, looking up at his face and feeling compassion. And this presence, this divine presence said, don't worry, you won't be harmed. I had the sensation of being seen through and through, like from the beginning of my life to the end, like held in the palm of some huge hand and seen. And the voice actually said, it was like looking through me, like parking all the things I thought I knew about myself, like clouds, like where I went to school, my job, all those things, nothing to it. And it came to rest in my heart. And it was like a feeling more than words, like come to your heart. And don't worry, just relax, just be soft. This will pass. And it did. And I found out later, when you are in a stranglehold, that's what you're supposed to do, just relax. And the person ran off.
Wow.
And I was left with this experience that should have been traumatic. and was certainly very, very frightening for other people to read about. This, what I kept seeing and still see is that light of presence.
Ready for a little getaway that completely resets your energy? We're hosting a live in-person spiritual retreat called A Whole New You. It's the weekend of October 4th in Oak Brook, Illinois. This spiritual retreat is all about your own personal healing and growth, reconnecting with yourself, learning to connect with your angels. And I'm going to talk about all new angels that I've never talked about anywhere before. And you're going to leave with more personal peace, purpose, clarity, and confidence than ever before. Learn more and see the itinerary at theangelmedium.com/retreat. That's theangelmedium.com/retreat. Links are in the show notes. And friend, I cannot wait to meet you and hug you in person. That's so beautiful. So it's interesting as you're talking about this, something that's just kind of arising within me is a question that I've been asking spirit lately. And I find that sometimes spirit will channel the answer directly to me, and sometimes spirit channels the answer to me through another person, a guest on the show, a book. Because we don't know what we don't know. And sometimes it takes somebody phrasing it in a different way for us to truly understand. But what I've been talking to Spirit about is this. All my life, have just kind of, I don't want to say this because my parents were so wonderful and we lived this like middle class existence, and they had their flaws and it shaped me. But I kind of looked around me and said, the people around me do not have life figured out. So I want to figure out life out for myself. I don't want to say that I felt alone, but I felt like I had to depend on myself. And so I started doing that very early. And um, there are other things that happened with my parents where I just, more specifically, my dad, because my mom listens to the podcast and sometimes she'll be like, that wasn't the way that things were. So I don't want to make my parents out to be bad guys. Bottom line is, I got to a point where I just had this self-determination, this strong will, and this desire to figure out life, to figure out how to do life right, to make sure that I was never in the position that I was as a kid, and that maybe my kid would feel more stability. And so I started working really young. And by young, I mean, I think by age, sixth grade, I had a permanent babysitting job every day after school. And I've just been going, 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 going ever since. And I'm very intuitive and I have a spiritual practice and I tune in daily where I don't feel like, I feel like I always want to be in that oneness, right? Like always with that intuition radio station connected from my head to spirit so that I'm always able to listen and hear. But at the same time, spirit has been coming in saying there's a different way to do life where you don't have to have that strong of a will. You don't have to. And as I'm saying it, they're like, that's not what we're trying to say. It's not the will, it's the pressure that comes along with the will. The will is okay, they say in and of itself. But as I'm talking this out right here, right now, they're like, it's the pressure that you attach to the will. And as soon as you drop the pressure, but it's almost like driving a car. That's the only way I can describe it right now in my life is, let's say I had the gas on full blast my entire life. And now you're kind of starting to coast more because I do have safety. I do have security in my family life, and I feel very blessed to have that. Um, but I almost feel an anxiety not having that pressure when I take the pressure off. And so it feels like gas, brake in the car. I'm like just learning how to drive, and it's like stop, go, stop, go, stop, go. And I can't get the vibration set right in my body, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's really rich question. And just sharing from my experience, there was a realization at some point, and I've been like a meditator, student of spiritual practice for a long time, that it wasn't for me about will, but willingness.
Mm,
Willingness. And so what I was looking for, and again, it's like the voice stuff. Can it make a really gentle movement of availability?
yeah.
And in terms of like spiritual practice or spirit, it's like shifting from trying to be in oneness to letting myself see with compassion and interest when I'm separate.
Mm,
Like I can see when I feel more choked, my voice, can I see the contraction or the distraction? So another thing I've discovered as an older person is I think we are all the ages we ever were. And
at
um,
once.
at once, in the sense they're in there. So you can be a person of great intuition and achievement, and you've had these extraordinary experiences. And there's still a little girl who is searching, anxious, who needs your compassionate attention.
Yeah.
And it's so powerful to realize, like, they say you can't change the past, but I think you can, in the sense that you can look back at yourself with great compassion and awareness.
Mhm.
So so when that little bubble of anxiety comes up, that need to be doing more, the movement might be, can it be with this with great kindness
Mhm.
and great compassion? Like it's okay now.
Yeah.
It's okay now.
Yeah.
And it's very deep practice.
Yeah. I love that. And just telling yourself over and over again, like, you're okay, you're safe.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
safe. It's
You're safe,
okay. Yeah,
safe to go slower.
yeah. To just be here and just see what's here.
Yeah.
We don't have to raise.
Yeah.
And it can reach into the deep past. I have a student who's Irish, and she's now in Scotland, but grew up in Ireland, who bought something called a famine chair. And it was a chair that really poor Irish people would have, little huts, and only one chair. And the old person would sit in the chair, or the pregnant woman would sit in the chair. And so she bought this object and had it refurbished. And she is since very successful. And she would practice sometimes meditating in this chair, sending compassion backwards to people in Ireland who were starving in the Great Famine and
Mm.
saying, we have enough now.
Mhm.
We have enough.
Mm.
We're safe.
Yeah. That's so beautiful. I think that as I've gone through this experience of life, there's so much that just intertwines when it comes to prayer and visualization and meditation and hypnotherapy and healing. And as you were talking, I got this vision, which the angels have been bringing in to do like a monthly prayer just with the community here and just to invite them on Zoom because I think it's so needed. And you're right. I love your statement. I think we could create an entire course around it. You can change the past.
You can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Because that little girl wanted that kind of attention, wanted someone saying, it's okay.
Yeah. Have you felt that way? Oh, sorry. Have you felt that way in your past? I've gone through some bigger things in life, and every time I've felt that presence. You feel the presence of your angels, but I can easily distinguish there's something else there, not just angels, loved ones, but my higher self, my future self. I've felt that since I was little. Have
Yeah.
you felt that along the way?
Yeah, and I had a similar sense when I was young of being somehow different than the people around me and my family,
Yeah.
and seeking something.
I
And
never thought it was in a good way, though. I always thought I was
I
the
think,
black sheep.
I think it's part of it. There's something extraordinary about being a black sheep. All the best teachers and guides were black sheep,
Yeah.
all of them.
I know you have a story of angels. Do you believe in angels? And I'd love to hear this story that you have to share.
Oh, the story Elizabeth in my book again. I hope you read. I mean, you've read my book. I hope your listeners read it. And it was at the time I didn't understand it, and I think that's part of the path too. And long story short, I was in a very spooky old house. My parents bought this old Victorian house. It was like creaky, and people everybody who stayed there had experienced it as like hearing sounds in the attic, and my parents smelled like cologne in the living room. Where did that come from? And me being like you one night, and again, I was in my 20s, and I was just about to move to New York City. And I was very unsure about what path to follow. And moving to New York seemed like that's the place. It was like drawing close to a bonfire. I'll go to this big roaring fire and become a writer, or whatever people do in New York. They're writers, they work with books. But totally clueless and anxious. And in a certain way, I wasn't following my heart, my own path. I was following ideas about what it would look like to be sophisticated or cool, something outside of me from the culture. So I was very torn. Where should I go? What should I do? Where can I follow this light? So I'm in the middle of the night. I woke up, and standing in the doorway, I could draw a picture. It's so vivid. Standing in the doorway was this figure, all in light, in white, a white dress, kind of lacy, kind of Victorian looking, and long, curly hair. Would have been like strawberry blonde, I think. And beautiful face, but I was terrified. I thought it was a ghost, because the whole house seemed haunted and sinister. So I'm absolutely paralyzed with fear and gasping for breath. And she said, I just want you to know that my name is Elizabeth, and I don't live here, but I'm close by.
Mm.
And I've come to tell you something.
Mm.
And she gave me, this is going to, this was surprising. She said, if you don't want your body, there are others who do.
Wow.
And I was like completely terrified, like, yes, I want it. It was like completely affirming, like, I do want my life, my body, I want it. I want it. So it terrified me for years.
Wow.
And here's the kicker. I slowly began to think there is no ghost because she was so radiant.
Yeah.
And even though it was terrifying thing here, it was also something that was so real. It's like inhabit your life.
Yeah.
Don't just be a puppet to some other force. And whether the culture or something beyond. So I just have to add this kicker. When I finally became a writer, I was writing a story for New York Magazine, and I was sent to experience a medium. And I don't remember who it was, but it was decades ago. And they were on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, and they had a big following. And the attitude was, is this medium real or not? Is it just a story, phony thing? So I'm listening, and all these people were gathering they meditated and they were asking questions. And I was like pretending to be like a cynical reporter. And very New Yorky. And always, a small town girl who wants to be sophisticated. So anyway, at the end he came out of this deep state he was in, and he said to me, I have a question for you. Who is Elizabeth?
Mm.
Because all around you, I hear that name and feel this presence.
Your guardian angel.
Guardian angel.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. Oh, and that is so powerful. To hear that, and they say it in different ways too, that there are so many souls on the other side that are lined up that want a lifetime here, and that it is such a blessing for us to be here in these bodies at this time. So have you always carried that with you every moment since then?
Yeah. And I mean, it was pretty hard to forget.
Yeah.
I haven't had a visitation like that again, ever. But like you, sometimes there's this feeling of presence.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing. So I'm wondering, just this last question, and then I hope that you can walk us through a little meditation. You've been around spirituality, spiritual practice for so long. And I know that I see clients who will come to me and they'll say, Julie, I stopped my spiritual practice and I just notice a complete difference in my life. And as soon as I go back to it, I just feel different. I feel more ease. I feel better in so many ways. How do you feel, or what would you impart to people who are listening is the best way to do life with spirituality, that spiritual piece? What's the best way to use it?
Um, Very similar to your approach. Keep it simple, make it your own,
Yeah.
keep it real, And it's true. I know a lot about Buddhism, a lot about spiritual practice, but what really, really helps is love and honor all those beautiful traditions and everything they bring, but to really give ourselves permission to really see that this attention we seek, this presence we seek, this oneness we seek is already here. It's inside us, and it's right where we are, whether we're in Illinois or New York or traffic jam. It's here. It's not something we have to seek outside of ourselves.
I lied. One more question. So the people who are your hardest clients, right, that come and say, I'm trying this, I'm trying this, I'm trying this, and I just don't feel presence. I just can't connect. What have you found that best suits those folks?
I encourage them to not try, to let go of trying, and to just be with themselves with an attitude of kindness and a little bit of willingness that things could shift. But with people who are really, people convince themselves that they can't open. So the most powerful thing that helps is to let them be closed with great kindness, if that makes sense. And then they begin to trust this kind attitude, that attention can be very gentle. So even if your heart feels closed and your head feels crazy, full of thought, and your life seems too hard and complicated for this, that they begin to notice that just for a moment, a breath, they can be with themselves with kind acceptance.
Oh, I got the tingles all over. I'm like, you're just being in your presence and your vibration just brings you into oneness. Thank you so much, Tracy. Can you bring us through meditation? Maybe your favorite one?
Okay. Well, I'll just do being with you meditation right now. So take my first instruction is make yourself comfortable. Like, let the back be straight as you can make it, but let yourself be just like this, just like this. Like I was talking about my voice raspy, let it be. Let yourself be. And let your eyes close if you're comfortable. And notice, just notice that there's a knowing attention that's already here inside. Something inside knows you're sitting here. And notice that this attention softens. Just let it soften. So maybe there's tension that's present, some pain sometimes for people. Just let the attention rest on that place. And notice how it feels to come home to the body, to feel the feet on the floor, the rhythm of the breath, Notice how it feels to just let yourself be, just like this. Trusting stillness, not perfect silence inside your head, but just not moving, being quiet. And notice how vibrant this attention is. There's life inside. There's knowing attention. It's vibrant, it vibrates. But also notice that it's very gentle, accepting, loving. Notice that it's coming home to the body. Just accepting opens you to a vibrancy surrounding you. And begin to remember. The ancient word for mindfulness means remember the present. Remember, you are more than thinking, than stories. You are also an attention that sees with kindness, with compassion, with love. Notice that there's a presence here that's very alive. It's very alive. And it's inside you, but also outside, connecting us. Notice that presence is vast, like the sky, and also very gentle, patient, and kind. See how it feels see how it feels to let every part of you be accepted and seen. Oh, good part, bad part, everything lovable, acceptable, understandable. Just rest in loving awareness. Notice that you are not just your stories or pain. You are also loving awareness, presence. Notice the vibration, the vibrancy of quiet attention, of presence. Just be still and be held by loving awareness, by presence. Just know that you're acceptable, lovable, just like this. Notice how it feels to just let things be. Don't fix, don't flee, just rest and be seen by loving awareness. is as you come out of meditation that you can keep a little bit of presence.
I love that, Tracy. That was beautiful. Oh, Tracy Cochran, your book is Presence, the art of being at home in yourself. Your book is amazing. I love your energy. As soon as we got to connect, I could just feel that oneness energy. I hope everybody's able to read this. Where can they find it? We'll put that link in the show notes. And where can they find you?
Okay, well, tracycochran.org or Preble.org. The book is widely available on Amazon and all over the place. So please give it a read.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us and your knowledge, your wisdom.
Yeah, thank you. It was a joy.
Friends, I need your help reaching as many people as possible. If you'd like to support this podcast and help us spread more hope to the world, please book a session with me, join my angel membership, or take my angel Reiki school. What's the difference? If you'd like to know what messages your angels and loved ones have for you, you'll want to book a session with me. The angel membership is all about your own personal spiritual healing. The membership takes you on a spiritual journey that teaches you how to create your own heaven on earth. And the Angel Reiki School is for those who want to get certified in mediumship, angel messages, and energy healing all at once. These are 3 ways you can help us share a message of hope and love with more people than ever before. Register for one or all 3 at theangelmedium.com. That's theangelmedium.com. Now, let's pray together. As we do, I want you to pray in a way where you feel as though everything you want for yourself and the world has already come true, and you're giving thanks. Why? Because this is the best way to manifest. So let's begin. God, universe, source, thank you. We're so grateful that you've blessed this world with calm and peace for all. This calm and peace has spread like ripples, soothing the hearts of every soul. Thank you for opening our hearts to abundance, allowing each of us to live our most authentic life, and helping us to create our own heaven on earth. We thank you for the love and deep heart-to-heart connection that surrounds us every day in our relationships. We thank you for the abundance of health and aliveness we feel radiating from every cell in our and our families' bodies. Thank you for the gift of walking this life with us and guiding us every step of the way through your messages. We hear you through our own intuition, and we feel you walking right by our sides, and we overflow with gratitude. Thank you for financial abundance, an abundance of opportunities, miracles, blessings, and prosperity in every way. We know that you want us to succeed so that we can show others how you want them to succeed too. Thank you for the boundless love, kindness, empathy, and compassion that binds us all together. Thank you for the laughter, fun, moments of pure delight that fill us every day, especially today. God, universe, source, thank you for blessing us beyond measure and allowing us to use our souls, gifts, talents, skills, and abilities to serve the world. We love you. I love you. And in this we pray. Amen. Friends, we're working on some pretty major things over here. And if you wouldn't mind saying a little prayer that these things come to fruition if they're God's will, we'd so appreciate it. And please add a little prayer in for any specific thing you need right now, too. Have a beautiful, blessed day. And don't forget to submit your contact info at theangelmedium.com if you'd like me to channel the name of one of your angels for you. Sending you peace, bliss, and many blessings.